was a former Mason who lived through the Morgan affair. He claimed that justice in the case was impossible because nearly all the civil offices in the country were in the hands of Freemasons. According to Finney, even the newspapers of the day were completely under their control. Finney writes that it was found that they could do nothing with the courts, with the sheriffs, with the eyewitnesses, or with the jurors, and all their efforts were for a time entirely impotent.
So this turned into a big brouhaha. It was a big Masonic scandal because it was all known.
The Morgan incident became an issue of national importance, not simply because a man was murdered, but more importantly, Americans began to realize that their supposedly democratic country was being secretly controlled by the Masonic Brotherhood.
And this led even to separate political parties, being anti-Masonic political parties being formed, and they were even called the Anti-Masonic Party.
We act like this was not known. We pretend as if this wasn't the bane of our existence since the dawn of our country. Unfortunately, it is. Surprise! So, I know a lot of people who had so much faith in a movement is because the instincts are good, the wonderful American first thought is all there. But unfortunately, the leader of this is ultimately compromised, just like they all are. Otherwise, they wouldn't be selected, even if it seems natural, even if it seems movie-esque. And we all love a good movie, but they're plain. And see, they've already trained us to like a good movie, to like a good underdog narrative. Who hasn't seen Rocky and thought, damn, I love an underdog? But we're just betting a horse that's more of the same. And that's what we realized. Especially when you tell us that the Jeffrey Epstein files is a Democrat hoax, when in fact our entire country, if we actually paid attention, was under a hoax of democratic values in this republic to begin with. And we could have taken a cue from history, learning about the Morgan scandal, anti-Masonic party. Unfortunately, that was buried, much like things, I don't know, like the Havara Agreement. You know, we just casually forget to mention that in history class, I guess. Like many other things, we casually forget to mention. Like, oops, are we going to have a class today on MK Ultra? Oops, who started the public school systems that have led to the deterioration of the American education system? We have to be done getting spit in our faces. This is the collective uprising, not just for the people who are blue no matter who, the blue anon people who are so dense that it scares me. This is the everybody wake up call. The everybody wake up call. Like, join hands, people. No, we've been overtaken for a long time. It's time to start a new party. We need an actual people's party because there's more of us than there are of them. They need us to vote for them. Right? Okay. We have these platforms, right? Okay. We have to collectively make a movement, ground up, of somebody who went to zero financial wealth. Yeah. Nobody was owning a corporation in your family, okay? No, I don't want to see anything about I worked at Bear Stearns or BlackRock or nothing in your background. I see anything about an internship at Citigroup or I was a Hollywood agent at, I don't know, some of those fucking stupid Hollywood agencies that seem to run everything. No, you work for the New York Post, bye, see you later. Who just happened to get the pictures of Epstein coming out of the hospital, if that was even him, or I'm sorry, coming out of prison unalived with like medical contraptions around him as if he was still possibly lingering to life. Okay, no, we don't want you. I would like to like put up Jimmy Dore. Wouldn't Jimmy Dore be a great president? I'd like that. A Jimmy Dore would be amazing, don't you think? Something like that. A Dave Smith. Fuck it. And I want somebody that's like a Jimmy Dore, but also like a Max Blumenthal or a Kurt Metzger or a Brianna Joy Gray. You know, I want a libertarian and somebody who has the empathy of a leftist in certain aspects, who understands populism of the working class movement of like the 50s and 60s, right? I want somebody who has the understanding of needing sovereignty in our borders and immigration, because that's really important. Because don't think for 5 seconds it changed, like leftists suddenly love immigrants. No, they just all became wealthy, elite, white liberal college people who like cheap labor and like to work for those companies. Okay, do we hear the leftists, like the establishment lesson, who's going to pick the oranges? Those racists? Yeah, it's the same. I want a leftist who understands that we need sovereignty in our borders so we can actually build a middle class for people who aren't in the intelligentsia, who can pick the oranges for not slave wages. Okay, great. Somebody who understands the problems with illegal Chinese pot farms. You know, that'd be great. Like a Tucker Carlson and a Brianna Joy Gray. You know, we need this variety and understanding. That's why it's so interesting too that like people, like I just find it interesting. I honestly think, picture like a presidency, a Candace Owens and a Brianna Joy Gray, a Candace Owens and a Jimmy Dore. Like actual populism. They might disagree, which is okay. But you know, like you just know that they aren't coming from a place that's anti-American and wanting bad for people, which these class of people, whether it's Trump and his following or Biden and Kamala and their following, it's the same Kool-Aid. You're just getting a different flavor, but it's all artificial bullshit when we just want some fresh orange juice. Do you see what I'm saying? We need this so fucking badly. So who's going to step up? We also just have to agree that these intelligence agencies have been corrupt forever, that this has been known forever. They have to go, all of them. All of them. But if we put it out there, we can make it happen. Why not? Why not?